Thank you. Good afternoon. I love this event. This is just, wow. It's my pleasure to introduce this year's star, which is Carol Wells. And Carol may be quite well known to many of you, but just in case, I thought I'd just give you a few words of background. Carol was one of the very originators of the San Francisco chapter of the HBA. She's held numerous leadership awards, I think a two-time chapter president, whole slew of great new ideas. In fact, if the WOTY West idea, that's one of Carol's inspirations back in the day. So she's been an incredible supporter of the HBA, and most particularly what the HBA can do for women in our industry, and in my case, inside of Genentech. Developing women is also part of Carol's day's job. She leads our training and development function for the US business, which is just the 18 billion these days, so it's no small responsibility. And she's really great at that, and she brings the HBA into that. And believe it or not, so she does the HBA, she does her day job, and she also volunteers outside of work for multiple non-profits as well. I don't know where she finds the time. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Her daughters are also involved in not-for-profits as well. In fact, I think one of them is here, Caitlin. If you're with us somewhere here, give me a wave. And her daughters work particularly for the Lymphoma and Leukemia Society, because sadly their father suffers from that illness. So, Carol Wells, phenomenal star, great upstanding member of society, phenomenal mum, strong leader. Carol, please come to the stage.
Thank you so much, Ian, and thank you all for sharing this award with me. I know many of you in this room, and I'm well aware of the countless hours that you volunteer and devote inside and outside of HBA. I'm extremely humbled to be the one on stage representing you. A heartfelt thank you to the San Francisco HBA Chapter Board, who touched me deeply with their nomination. And I'm so grateful to be working for an organization like Genentech that is so committed to supporting organizations like the Healthcare Businesswomen's Association. I certainly did not get here on my own. So many people in my life support me and make it possible for me to be involved in HBA. First and foremost, my family, my daughters, Caitlin, who's sitting next to me today, and Olivia, and Phil, my husband, my one and only true love. My colleagues at Genentech, including the amazing Maureen George, who keeps me on the straight and narrow. My wonderful boss, Len Canavy, who, like Ian, are both past HBA Honorable Mentor honorees, and they encourage all of us at Genentech to get involved in organizations like the HBA. Receiving this award touches me in a very personal way. When I think about my upbringing, I was pretty much destined to be a person who volunteered. I was fortunate to have grown up with parents who raised a family where volunteering was in our fabric. My mom and dad were always volunteering, from the Vietnam veterans to church, to the home committee in our town that helped those in need to pay their monthly bills. Service was natural, and it was always done without fanfare. To this day, I can still hear my mom and dad saying, never miss church, never miss work, and never ever miss a chance to give to others. The rest of the time's up to you. At my parents' core was truly a spirit of making an impact by helping others. As I got older, I came to appreciate more and more that my parents had very busy lives when I was little. In addition to raising my sister and me, my dad, a Boston firefighter, always had multiple side jobs, as most firefighters do. And my mom was CEO of our home, often managing it all as my dad worked so many hours. Yet they always seemed to have time to volunteer. When I went off to college and got involved in organizations and then continued to volunteer as I progressed in my career, I'd sometimes say or think to myself, oh, I don't know if I have time to do this. This isn't going to work with my schedule. I'm not sure I can commit to one more thing. But then I would think, boy, my parents never said that. They always had time to volunteer. How is that? With time, I sorted out the answer. While they did volunteer for countless organizations, what I learned was that to them, volunteering was much simpler than that. To them, volunteering at its essence was about treating every interaction as an opportunity to volunteer. I remember a paraplegic in our town who worked as a dispatcher in the volunteer fire station. Every day that my dad wasn't working, he'd drop by the fire station to say hi to Fred. And one day Fred, who was typically so positive in spite of his life circumstances, said to my dad, "Sometimes I wonder why I'm here on earth." And without skipping a beat, my dad said, "For the joy you bring to me each time I see you." That was the kind of volunteering that they modeled day in and day out. A two-way human exchange of kindness. In short, they reframed volunteering so it could be a part of anyone's day. We all have opportunities to intentionally lift someone's spirit during a short interaction, to truly listen, not multitasking with our technology when someone's speaking to us, or maybe even provide the critical feedback that can help someone get past an obstacle that they don't see. What my parents taught me was then that when we are intentional and thoughtful about how we make others feel, every interaction becomes an opportunity to volunteer. And the possibilities created are beyond measure. When we view our interactions as opportunities to volunteer, we can influence a young professional to try something they didn't think was possible. We can make that one simple introduction that provides the missing piece to someone's important puzzle. Or we can make a colleague's tough day not seem so tough. When we view our interactions as opportunities to volunteer, we ultimately create kindness, a collective kindness that multiplies our ability to influence and to create greater possibilities. Volunteering can seem daunting. There may be times in our lives when we can't be on that board or join that committee or lead that mentoring group, but it doesn't mean we can't be volunteering. I encourage all of us to think about our interactions, perhaps reframe what volunteering looks like, and then seek out opportunities to be intentional about how we make others feel. In the hallways, at the coffee pot, in the grocery store, and on the street. And of course, at the Healthcare Business Women's Association. Please join people join HBA to offer and to gain experience, to help each other in the healthcare business world to be the very best that we can be. There couldn't be a more receptive organization to this kind of volunteering. I know with all of us having the spirit of volunteering, we can positively impact and influence not just our colleagues here in HBA, but those at work, with our families at home, and in the spheres of society we move in. My dad always said, "Tomorrow is promised to not one of us. Make the most of today." And I truly believe that treating every action as an opportunity to volunteer does just that. Thank you.
We are going back to San Francisco, where Genentech would like to congratulate Carol